Good evening. It is 9:03 on the 15th of September, 3305. This is the Prismatic Congress, and I'm your host, Jeff Ryan. So welcome to our second official show. Although this is actually the fourth show we've done, but this is the second official one. First off, I'd like to start with how people are today. Techie, how are you doing today?
I'm tired as hell, but thanks.
Missler?
Also a little bit tired, but generally fine.
What have you been doing in the game this week, Missler?
I don't want to say the usual again, but it's pretty much the usual. Usual BGS work, a little bit of ringing up, and also a little bit of power play.
Yeah, I think we'd be disappointed if the Lord Warden wasn't doing a bit of BGS. Techie? What have you been
Well,
doing?
I was just sitting in my office in the Emerald Observatory, watching statistics go up and down, some documentaries. I didn't touch any of my ships this week, so I was basically just at home.
Then you've got even less excuse for replying to Senator Einarch's letter, my friend.
Well, yeah, I was at home, but I was very busy.
Of course.
That
Shots fired.
university isn't going to run by itself.
Yeah. Well, on to the news. General news. The Yamix last show, we had a look at Yamix's 100 questions. Yamix then made a video about this, and there was a lack of response during the week that he was waiting for answers. There was a lack of response from Frontier Developments, and he basically made a video criticizing the lack of interaction. It's something we've actually discussed in the Prismatic Imperium this last week. The level of interaction that the game company could have with its community, and the downside of Frontier is not very good at this for some things. So the video we'll put in the show notes later. That was it's an interesting thing to watch. The other big news, of course, this week was the streaming event for the update that is coming on the 18th, which is in 3 days. So that was a lot of news in there about arcs, about the new player experience, livery, and being able to upgrade your ships. Well, just the livery, obviously, from the main panel, so you don't have to be docked anymore. I don't know how I feel about that. We'll discuss that later in the discussion. And that's it. It's been a busy week, but nothing too bad. And the update is something we've known has been coming for a while. We've discussed arcs, and we've looked at the new player thing on the live stream, so we can discuss that later as well. Branch news, Vigor.
Amazing intro. Thank you. So I cut right to the chase. What has happened at the branch of Vigor over the last week? We have been in an election in Lambda Hydri, which is noteworthy in the in-game BGS. And this election concluded and resulted in the Prismatic Imperium taking control over Lambda Hydri, which means that one of our old core systems is back in our territory, and we have control over it. But that also means a little bit of a mission priority change for our faction and our branch. We're going to keep Lambda Hydri now mostly alone, that we've got control over it. And that also means we don't have any PI targets at the moment. So Lambda Hydri was, in that regard, pretty nice, because it was our last target that you could run missions for and drop bounty vouchers and stuff like that. And with that being out of our mission board, we don't have any PI targets left. Fortunately for things like conflicts, we are generally pretty good with Q-Bear Patrons principles. These are rather bloodthirsty and usually have something going on, like a war or an election that we can have an eye on and participate in if we want to. But other than that, while they do a great job of keeping us busy there, we want to focus more on the Adamantine Union for now. After all, the Adamantine Union is our biggest faction that we have in the game, and while the Prismatic Imperium is basically just containment work and avoiding expansions and spreading more Imperial factions in Ashling space, the Adamantine Union is actually a target we can support and that we can feel good about, and we have a lot of systems there. The Adamantine Union has for a long time had kind of a more secretive role, being very internal. I think everyone was, of course, aware that this faction belonged to us, but I always had the impression it was a bit overshadowed by the Prismatic Imperium and our objectives on the public mission board. And we are going to loosen up that policy a little bit and put the AU into more focus in general, which means you have already maybe noticed that there is the current expansion that we want to target on our mission board, and you can expect further AU targets to appear there and to really put that more into perspective and show that as the faction we want to put our main support in. Other than that, the Adamantine Union also has a great advantage that it is a opportunity to integrate with roleplay. With the fight for slave freedom we have going on there and the expansion coming up, we are tinkering with ideas on integrating roleplay opportunities and commissions for our website, for example, with the BGS that is going on there. So stay tuned. There could be more information coming up on Discord soon, or I might be talking about that in an upcoming show. But so much for our minor faction politics and the branch of Vigor. I think it's time to look to the stars now and the great frontier exploration and research. And for that, I will hand over to our dear Lord Headmaster Techeron, speaking for the branch of Sight.
Well, thank you, my dear colleague. For this week, I have the following announcements to make. A few seconds ago, every one of you was pinged by me. Because, as announced last week, I finally had the time to write and post the vote for the upcoming annual side expedition. I've looked up at the galaxy map to find some good locations that are not too far away for our beginners, and of course also for the ones who are already exploring for years. We have 3 options available: the Bubble Nebula Barnard's Loop and the Vale Nebula Group, that also includes all these other ones that are so closely together. If you decide to take part, you need an SRV and at least 30 light years of jump rate. The rewards are going to be perfect. So it's basically very easy work, but you can get a lot of diamonds for it. Also, please go over to my post, read it, and vote for the location you want to go to, if you're planning to join the trip. Currently, the departure time is set to the 25th of October, 7 PM in-game time. If you're not going to make it at that time, we can think about another one as well. But first, I have to see how many people are actually going to show up for that event. Other than that, currently, the branch of Sight is undermanned when it comes to Xeno research and defensive development. That means we don't have enough personnel at the moment to study all of that interesting Fargoid artifacts lying around. But fortunately for me, last week I got an interesting letter from one of our commanders who's currently here. Einar wants to join the branch of Sight. So I've invited him for a little talk. He's going to show up, hopefully, on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to an interesting roleplay interact. Other than that, that has been everything from my side. Unfortunately, our dear Lord Harold isn't here, because he has to make up another fake news article. So I'm just going to finish up for my branch and give the word back to my dear colleague, Jeff Ryan.
Can we have the, because we do have the Mind's mighty intro, don't we? We do have it set up
Yep.
for them. You just play it?
Ah, of course. Here you go, Kevin. That's for you.
Yay.
That was nice. And it's a shame we don't have anything to follow with it. We're still, as people know, this broadcast has not been approved by it hasn't been approved by the
People's
branch of
Media.
Mind. Yeah, so we're an independent broadcast until the Lord Herald decides
It's
to
too late,
approve
but
us.
we could have pretended that was the like the sound for the discussion part.
Yeah.
They are just too busy making up another stash of fake news. I mean, I guess they don't even want to come in here because we actually speak the truth.
I think it's a shame. I think it would be nice for the branch of Mind to join us. I would welcome. The
As
Lord
long
Herald.
as they don't bring the Vector, I'm okay with it.
I imagine it would be the Lord Herald himself, or maybe he would send his vice. Anyway, I'd like to come back to some of the points that you guys made. I'll start with Missler. I'll do them in order. New targets. I think the problem with Cubio's BGS, the Prismatic Imperium itself, has always been that it's a strange one to do because we have a patronage. We can do that and keep to our roleplay because we're inside Ashling's sphere. We don't want to interfere too much with power play mechanics, so it's always been a case of we wanted to have a presence, but we can't overextend ourselves, or people would start to be upset with us.
Honestly,
Yeah. The Adamantine Union. I'm glad that you want to focus on that. As for why it's secretive, I don't think that's entirely true. We have spoken about it in the past. We've tried to do initiatives with it. The one thing that we have tried to do, because this was a lesson harshly learned, was although we try to encourage the individual branches to develop their own identities and to do their own things, they're still all part of the Prismatic Imperium. As some people listening to the show might know, we were once part of the 13th Legion was part of the Prismatic Imperium, but it developed a very strong separate identity, and the second leader of the 13th Legion basically felt that there was no real advantage to his PvP group being part of the Prismatic Imperium. And there's always been a reaction side to that, which is we don't want something like another group within the group feeling that it's separate from the group. So we've always tried to encourage that the AU was part of the Prismatic Imperium. We did some role play to make it so. We wrote some history to make it so. That's why the AU is referred to as a protectorate, and as it's led by a task force which is sent from the Prismatic Imperium. Basically, because we don't want to encourage another breakaway faction. Which, when you have another faction like that, that's very possible. I mean, let's say Benji goes mad and he decides that he can run the BGS by himself and leaves the Prismatic Imperium and claims the Adamantine Union is his own. So we want to keep the group together. So it's not that it was secretive. It's just that we've always tried to integrate it into the PI.
yeah, secretive is not the right word, but I really was meaning that was kind of overshadowed and fell through the.
It is
through what everyone
overshadowed.
saw when they looked at the mission board. It was like all targets in the around QBO and what's going on the AU. No idea.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, there was a point where the AU was basically abandoned because our BGS personnel went down, so we didn't have the people to man both. And the more important one, because the Prismatic Imperium's BGS is important not only to ourselves but also to the Ashland community. In that, if we abandoned it, then it could run amok. It could very easily run into overexpansion and cause problems for other people. The Prismatic Imperium's BGS needs caretaking, so we had to choose between the two. we chose to focus on the Prismatic Imperium again. So it's good to see the AU being used again and seeing people focus on it. Role playing freedom. That's the other big thing that I like about the AU is yes, that was our big freedom initiative, and yes, it is a good place where we can put some role play with Wibith and the Imperial slavery, and it was always one of the things that we tried to do in the past was to be involved in that sort of thing. We discussed a little bit last time how hard that can be with the game mechanics, but yeah, we do try to do it. So, what kind of ideas do you have for role playing freedom? Or
Well, again, I don't want to announce anything right now. You'll probably see more information appearing soon here on Discord, or like, as I said, I'll talk about it in an upcoming show.
Trying to get an
But,
exclusive.
There, with a little bit more targets appearing in our mission board for the AU and an expansion that will happen very soon. Depending on how that goes, we have some ideas on how we can integrate roleplay together with these in-game events.
Yeah, integrate. It's trying to encourage gameplay or having things represented in the game is always nice. Lord Headmaster.
Yeah.
I like the way you just surprised me with an announcement during the during the show. I'm speaking to you, and then I saw him pinged, and yeah, so we have this third annual site expedition.
Well, it was time. If you remember, I were doing these expeditions already in the past.
Yeah.
One per season. And I thought now it's a good idea to come back to that tradition. I mean, for you, it's probably not going to be a problem. You're always away. I never see you in your office. You're always out in the black.
Yeah, that's kind of. I didn't actually answer the question myself at the top of the show, but yeah, I'm still out there. I actually looked at my map today. I'm slowly making my way through the Acheron sector still. I didn't actually get to play today. Today's been a busy day with real world and things, but yeah. So yeah, I'm never in my office, and I definitely doubt I'll be back in time for the expedition. But I would like to encourage anybody to join it. I don't think this is something that should just be for site members. There's anybody who wants to do an expedition and get out there. And also, I mean, not just the rewards. I saw you were speaking about perfect rewards, but also just the best reward is hanging out with your friends and making new ones. So it'd be a good thing for people to do together.
Absolutely. Who knows what might be out there?
I mean, there's always somebody that does the first discovery or discovers something. We don't know who's going to be the next guy. I'm sure JB Sayer had no idea when he made that jump. He was about to meet Thargoids. He thought it was just a random nobody in a random nobody galaxy. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly he made first contact. Sorry, I was taking a sip of beer there.
Hey, you're drinking during work time?
Yes, it's encouraged by when you're doing online presenting. It's
well.
It's a tradition. Hey, I'm not flying.
Or driving.
No. Although I am operating machinery.
I'm just sitting in my office now, thinking about your dusty chair.
Right, so let's open this up to the floor. We have some guests with us today. We have Einarch, who's back with us. I hope he's got his microphone working. Maybe not. We have Sinkarma, TTMJ. We had Fengeril who dropped in, but he's left again.
Hanzo is biting the cables off.
So, any questions about what we've talked about so far today?
Yeah, I'd just like to let you know that I will be reporting everything back to the Branch of Mind.
The Branch of Mind is invited, and we do know and hope that the Lord Herald listens to this.
We see right through your trickery, so don't even try to deny this.
Oh, well, would you look at that? A member of Mind listening and already accusing us of bringing false information and being aggressive.
You're welcome. In fact, I was gonna, if you want to join the show and represent the branch of Mind, you're more than welcome to do so. I would check in with Kevin, but it would be nice to have a representative here too.
If you think I'm going to fall for one of your traps, you can think again.
Jesus.
Look at this, a typical TPM meaning.
It's a friendly offer, and I wonder where Kevin is. He said he might be here tonight.
Oh, who knows?
Parties.
That's
Same.
none of your concern.
Parties.
Parties.
Right. So, any questions about anything we've discussed tonight? Oh, one thing we could start off with would be Frontier Dev's lack of communication. So, I know some of you have some opinions about that.
Well, my opinion is it's a game company, and they're probably just sick and tired of people right now. So they're just sort of saying, "Fuck it, we'll just make our game and get it over with." Because whatever we do is going to be complained about. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, here's something free. Fuck you, we don't want this thing for free. It's gonna be a scheme. No, why? What? Just you can't
Yeah.
please everyone.
I've already seen. I mean, people are talking about. I mean, they're giving the arcs. So arcs, which can be bought, similar to what happens now on Xbox and PlayStation, they can also be earned. And I've already some people legitimately complaining that they should have back pay. You know, I've been playing this game for 1,000 hours or 2,000 hours, so give me arcs for that. And they're like, no, guys, it's from September the 18th, so they're already giving away for people to earn them for free, and there are legitimately people complaining that, you know, what about the back pay? So yeah, I agree with your point. I know not everybody does.
Yeah, excuse me. But yeah, this is just it's a mess. But then again, it's like the same with World of Tanks, different game. But the devs for that game eventually got to a point where they just said, you know, early on actually, we're not going to pay attention to the people that much. If there's a serious issue, we'll fix it. But otherwise, if some random people is just complaining, we'll just ignore them.
Yeah, I think the community for Elite Dangerous is honestly, and I've been a part of the community since it started, pretty much since the game was announced, and I think that we do have a wonderful community, and there's a lot of community efforts, and a lot of good has come from it. I know that there's a lot of charity work that goes on in the name of the game. Some wonderful things have happened to help people through contacts made in the game, and there is a fantastic community out there. But there are also some real bastards as well. And, so
Yeah.
It's also usually, I mean, it depends on the scale of the community, how big the community is. But even with community managers and whatnot, it is pretty difficult to filter through all the input you get. There's so much noise, and it's pretty difficult to filter through that and find really constructive criticism, things that are worth looking at, and assembling a group to look at it in detail and allocating resources. And it's not easy, so I can understand putting the main focus on just developing the game the way it's already in motion.
Yeah. Anyways, what I was thinking of otherwise is, well, this is not really arcs related, but I'm thinking of maybe what I'll do is next weekend, because I've got a long weekend, is I'm gonna see how much arcs I can get if I do some AX hunting. Because they didn't really specify how the arcs is received or anything.
I suspect it's just related to game time. I've got nothing to back that up at all. Because just saying like go play the game and you'll accumulate arcs. There's a 400 cap. I mean,
It won't be passive. They specified it won't be passive, so you've got to do something in game. I'm not sure if they make it with like credit rewards or you have another like reward entry on the missions when you turn them in. I have no idea how to handle it, but it is active
maybe it's
rewards.
just recording actions. Like, I mean, if I'm scanning, I'm earning rewards. if
Could
I'm
also be,
smart.
yeah.
I noticed something in the live stream though about that. Is when he started that live stream, he didn't have any arcs. Well, of course they added some because of the show whatnot, but it said there in that session where he was doing the tutorial, he got 13 arcs in that session.
No.
So just
Oh.
doing the tutorial was like 13 arcs.
Well spotted.
I'm not sure how accurate it was. Maybe he was playing around with other settings and that also counted into the amount. I don't know. But technically then you'd have to do the tutorial about a couple of times to get the full 400 arcs for the week. But yeah, I'm thinking it is just passive. As you're playing the game and just scanning things or shooting things or trading things, you'll get arcs.
Mistler, you said that it isn't passive. Did they actually specify that?
I should probably rephrase that better. And by not passive, I mean it's not like you just log in and go AFK and you'll get arcs for the game time ticking up. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And that has been
You've-
confirmed.
You got to be active in some way in the game. That's what they, I think, said in the Q&A. There was a post after it where they also specified the pricing, and I make sure to get the link and we can add it to the show notes later on.
Oh, actually, about that pricing, I know a lot of people have been complaining about, oh, this is just another scheme to make more money. But if you actually look at the pricing change now, where we get individual skins now instead of having a 6-pack.
Yeah. I don't think it is a scheme. I mean, I'm sure there must be some advantage in them for it, but I mean, I watched Obsidian Ant's video breaking down the prices, and the prices are more or less comparable. Some are a little bit higher, some are a little bit lower to the prices as they are now. So,
Yeah.
If I may quote that line from the FAQ they posted or from the post they added 2 days ago or so. We don't want to alter the way you play Elite Dangerous. We've looked at common in-game actions across all the main careers or activities, such as exploration, trade, and combat, and ensured that those activities provide a number of arcs.
So like it would be like if you shoot a ship, you get 0.01 arcs. If you scan a planet, you get 0.1 arcs. So that they've probably done some play testing so that it's more or less the same depending on what you do. So a pirate will make about the same as an explorer over the same given time for the actions that he does.
They mentioned a cap of 400 arcs per week. I guess it won't be too small numbers. I imagine that cap can be filled rather quickly by just being active.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm actually thinking.
Yes.
The reason why they made that 400 cap is because they might have originally first thought, hey, we'll put in no cap, let people just get the arcs. But then someone realized someone will find a break in the game and find a way to make 1 billion arcs in 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, so they probably put in that cap. They'll probably raise it later on, but they put in this cap for the first initial bit while they're trying to figure out how fast you can get the caps. I'm saying caps are arcs, but words.
Hats. Let's just call them hats from now on. So
hats, yeah, the hats because they're cosmetic hats. But yeah, the arcs. I'm tripping over my words. Sorry, but yeah, it's probably just for their safety so that no one gets out of hand. Because I guarantee the moment the patch goes live, 2 seconds later, there's going to be a video that says, "Oh my god, I can get 2 million arcs in 2 hours."
Yes, I mean that's the nature of throwing your code out there. I mean, somebody's going to find a way to break it pretty quickly. I mean, it happened with credits. It's happened with the economy numerous times. It's just such a complex system that something will break. I accept it. I can understand it, but not everybody does. And yes, I think you're right. I think the cap's a good idea as they try and figure out how to make it go. Even if the cap just stays and it just stays like that.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that we do need to earn 5,000 caps a week or whatever. I mean, I think that yes, if you want things quickly, you should buy them. They're giving you an alternative so that 2 or 3 times a year you can treat yourself to something else, which was an option that we didn't have before. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm personally because I don't have that much. Because I got really discerned with the case where I have to buy 6 skins just to have the one skin that I want, and that's what got me really off. And I haven't bought any skins for like a long time. But now I'll buy a small packet of arcs, then grind out whatever extra I do grind out, and then I'll buy a little bit of here and there.
Mhm.
It's a good system, in
I
my
do,
opinion.
I do like the decals. I think I'll
Hmm.
probably
Those
buy
are
some.
actually rather cheap. I mean, it all depends on the
Yeah.
actual rate that you will farm arcs at. But yeah, it's also a little bit sad that the pricing they gave here for how much arcs something will be, it's very vague. Like for a fighter
Hmm.
or hang on, there's a ship paint job, right? Ship paint jobs 620 to 5.5k. So that's a huge range for ship paint jobs for singles. No idea where we can actually expect like a standard paint job to be on that scale. But
Yeah, no, that's the thing to note, is of course
Is what?
that I'm trying to get the thing on my screen is that thing that you just talked about is that massive trade. What exactly is going to be? Oh, I can't get it on my screen now. What exactly is going to be so expensive for one skin to be so expensive? Probably a gold skin.
Yeah, there have been skins that have cost like those exclusive ones that cost a lot of money. Yeah, so they do have those. I think they're fine. I mean, if you've got the money, I think I've bought something at some point in the past. I do like those kind of things. They cost a bit more money. They're a bit of exclusivity. You know, you can show off. I think it's fine.
Hmm.
I guess we'll have more to talk about this when we get the first impression with the patch this week. But it's certainly interesting, and I like the idea.
Yeah,
I-
no, it's really
I like
interesting.
the idea that there's an alternative for people that don't want to spend and don't want to go the microtransaction route. I'm happy that there is an alternative so that they can earn and buy the odd paint job and personalize their ships. I like that Frontier have already encouraged that. Sorry, am I here? My screen.
Yeah, I
just,
can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, my screen just died. Yeah, but I like that Frontier have already encouraged things like giving decals and things for special events, both in the game and in the real world. I mean, those are nice things. Those are nice things to have and to
Hmm.
use.
Yeah, recently they did the Thargoid bobblehead. You can just earn it through the game.
Yeah, there's also like the DW2 Distant Worlds Tour skin that I have, but I haven't actually used
Hmm.
yet because I've not been back. But yeah, and also I mean things like LaveCon, they do a special decal just for that. So there are things where they've celebrated events or things accomplishments in the game by this, and people haven't had to pay. And I think those are nice details and nice touches.
Hmm. Yeah, and you can get that Thargoid bobblehead by just getting 1 Thargoid heart and 10 meta alloys. Bit of a hard thing to get, but nevertheless, depending on person to person.
Yep.
I have my Founder decal, my Distant Worlds 2 decal, and now my Exploration Elite decal. I think that's me set forever. I don't need anything else.
I've got my Skulls decal that I bought.
Wasn't
But
the Skulls one free with people who were here at launch? It was like part of the deluxe commander pack.
No.
Are you
But I
talking
quite
about
like
the
it.
skull that came with like beta and stuff?
Yeah.
No, not that one. There's a different skull pack. But not the dragon skull that I bought. I regret buying it. It was pretty cool. But nevertheless, off top.
Anyway,
A bit curious
yeah.
about the livery changes from the main menu when you're just out there in space. Like, for example, in your case, Jeff, if you're out there and your paint job is probably at 0 health and there's almost nothing of it left, I wonder how they handle those cases. Did you
from
just
Wonder,
swap it out as
yeah.
if you put it on the last stock? I don't know.
Yeah, from what I understand is that it replaces your paint job, but it doesn't replace the paint, because basically the lore explanation is that your paint job is not actually a paint job. It's like a hollow emitter on your ship reflected in the paint. So what you're doing in the livery outside of the game is you're just changing the program. So previously we had to do. I don't like it. I can buy it as a lore explanation.
Yeah, because there's like cars that can do that right in today's age, you know.
Yeah, I
Cars
can buy. I personally, I don't like it. I like the
Mm.
fact that I had to be docked to change my livery. Personally, even
Well,
as even
well,
as
you
an
know,
explorer.
in Elite, everything is a hologram, even you.
That's true. Actually, I
point.
am a hologram. Yeah.
Salt is a game. Oh
On a simulation.
I think we're still trying to answer that question.
no. Yeah, but for me,
But-
it's
Yes,
convenience. You know, convenience.
I don't like it. Even as an explorer, as somebody, I've not been docked in a spaceport since March, and I personally don't like it. But I can go along with it. I'm not going to complain about it.
It's certainly a quality of life feature.
Yeah, for what you just know, they're not forcing you to constantly change your skin as you go every 2 seconds through space.
Change your skin! No, change your
Maybe-
skin!
Maybe you earn arcs by changing your skin.
That'd be ridiculous. But but it's nice, well, and also the preview system where they can preview things a lot easier in game.
I do
not
like
just-
that. I
Yeah.
do like the preview system. I liked what I saw of the shop and be able to look at things, because that was
Yeah.
always something that I never quite got the right idea from looking at.
Finally, Hanzo found the right button.
I was wondering where you were, and you kept coming and going.
Ah, greetings, my old friend.
Why, hello indeed. It's been a while.
I welcome you to our site congress, my former vice
Prismatic
headmaster.
Congress. It's the Prismatic Congress.
Yeah, I know, but site congress was its old.
For the pilot and the second pilot.
I think technically it had no old name.
Well, no,
Or
we
did
did call it the Site Congress for the set. The first episode it had no.
I just said that so Fenduril knows that I was still in charge, at least for 5 minutes.
Of what? Who left you in charge of something?
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to the show. The original point that we've moved steadily further and further away from is Frontier Development's communication. I personally understand it. I forgive it, but I still don't like it. I do wish that what they could do is that they could tell us things and then just ignore the backlash. I think they've become too sensitive. I do agree with people who say they've become too sensitive. I agree with that. I wish they could communicate with us more. They can tell us what they're working on. Most of us understand when things don't happen. I mean, there was supposed to be an engineering chair for the wings for the multi crew. That didn't happen. Most of us understood there was probably a problem during development, and they dropped that chair. So, but that when the people who complain are the noisiest, and they're ruining it for everybody. And I wish that Frontier Developments could communicate with us more and tell us more about what's coming. Obviously, when there's a nice surprise coming, like the Thargoids coming back, then yes, they do want to keep that secret because they have a sense of drama, they have a sense of theatre, and I appreciate that about them. But I still wish that sometimes they could give us an idea as to what they're working on. They did that very well when they held their first big show, which has so far been the only one for everything to do with Frontier Developments, Jurassic World, and Elite Dangerous, and the Planet Coaster. And they looked at everything and they told us what was coming over the next couple of years. And I thought that was a very good way to do it. And I looked forward to hearing more about these things. Obviously, when carriers dropped out, when carriers disappeared, there was a bit of a backlash. But I didn't actually, personally, I didn't feel it was that bad. I think most people understood this is a big change, and we're glad that they're taking the time to do it properly. But whilst I'm forgiving and understanding, I do wish they could tell us more about what's happening generally, not just about any specific instance right now, but just generally. I would like to know more about what's coming. And if
Yeah,
it
especially with
changes,
the next,
fine.
yeah, especially with the next big patch that's coming supposedly next year. So
Yeah,
what
that's
the hell is that?
the mystery Jesus patch that will fix everything, and it will give us legs and atmospheric planets and
All the
life.
things.
And also, we could play as Thargoids if we chose, or we can choose to be the newly found Guardian people, because that will give us 3 races to choose from. So
Give us
I
a
want-
race tree.
I want to play as Spartak Tiger.
probably I'm going to get like an email tomorrow from Michael Brooks saying who leaked.
No,
Oh. Oh,
I want multi-crude Baltic Tiger for instead of SOV. Yeah, Super Tiger. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not really funny, but it's somehow funny for me.
I'm the one that's been drinking, and you're the one that's got drunk.
Yeah, I get drunk tired. I never drink.
just
Like,
wait
it's-
1 more hour and you're going to see the difference.
Hmm.
Role playing. Sorry, I was just thinking about tying in Adamantine Union. I was going back to. I do actually make notes, especially during you guys when you're speaking. And is there anything that the rest of us could do to actually help the Adamantine Union and to bring it forth, whether it's working for it or some kind of campaign or just general publicity?
Well, I think the best way is just pay attention to the announcements we make in the objectives channels
Well,
/ ideas with what's coming. We're also still discussing the idea of events that I mentioned last time. If there's particular help we need, I'm sure we'll call out for help soon enough.
And I think that the Adamantine Union has a big problem just now, which is the Vice Warden, because I understand that he's actually insane.
he is actually insane.
Hmm?
He's not just role playing that. He is actually insane.
If
What?
you guys like, I could replace him.
Yeah, you already said that to me
I
when I
like
asked for a new vice headmaster.
Laughter says it all.
I like that TTMJ came in here aggressive and he's like, "Can I have a job?" The loyalty to the branch of mind is, it's inspiring to me.
You know, they
Be
don't
careful
get any food.
what you wish for. They might put you to work.
Yeah.
Also, what I was thinking is sort of related to this, is maybe just talking in the open general chat in those areas of space. See who responds, maybe get some more people in to help.
We have done that in the past. That's why we have some of the people on our channels that we do. That's how we got Gemini, if I remember correctly, which was basically Untamed and Doom hanging around Wibith, and they made contact with some of the people there, and they saw people running missions. And like, why are you guys running missions? And they're like, well, we're these guys. And they were like, okay, we're these guys, and they made friends and learned from each other. And that's kind of what we've done in the past. I've learned not to do that in Cubio. It's in Cubio itself. shouting in general space is not the best thing to do. I mean, you might meet somebody, but very often you're just going to run into trolls and pirates and feds and people who like hanging around QBO to earn merits for killing
That's the
us.
thing that was the thing I was worried about and thinking about. But I thought, let me first bring it up before actually.
No, it's a good idea, just not necessarily in QBO, but in actually space.
Yeah.
Oh, that was sorry. I just read the first thing I wrote for tonight, which was the September update is all about improving the new player experience. How could the Prismatic Imperium improve the new player experience for our new players? That was my first thing.
Ooh.
Because like basically we've got the Start Here channel, which is fantastic. And there is a lot of things to read. We have a beautiful logo, a great kind of breakdown of what the Prismatic Imperium was when we wrote it, which was a long time ago. That should possibly be updated. But actually, yeah, you guys are still not there. Lord Warden, Trinity A. Craft, and Vice Warden Ray Tracer 38. So some of those things should probably be updated. But the problem is nobody reads these things, or very, very few people read them, or if they do read them, it's like the first two chapters of a fantasy novel in a universe that you know nothing about. It's basically all names and strange sounding words. So what could we do to improve the experience?
I don't think you can fix people not reading, like Start Here
You
or
can.
read this channels
You
on.
can.
And in my experience, no. There's too many people that just want to be spoon-fed information, and you can't address those. I mean, sure, it's absolutely worth making sure everything is updated and considering if there might be structural changes you can make to make it more appealing. But if somebody does not read stuff, then I don't think you can do a great job of fixing that.
That's kind of like the question is. I mean, let's assume that most people don't read it, and that's fair enough. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
The best example is when you join, you get this ping directly from the bot that puts you a big link to the user guide in there, where every information you could possibly want to start with is in that guide. And too often people get pinged with that link and then ask a question that is pretty much answered in that guide, but shows they didn't read it really. And if even that initial ping does not help, I'm not sure what does.
Maybe if the ping connected you to a video.
A video. No. But not too long.
Not too long.
Start Here channel.
It probably should be about 3 minutes.
Stick figures.
And should have nice music.
And at least 1 minute full of ads.
Yeah, and at least 1 minute full of advertisements.
Just
Unnecessary ads. I'm looking into the direction of might.
just add any of what was that arsehole's name again? I get his name.
Don't tell Marcus DiPaolo. He's going to.
No, he's not an arsehole. No, I'm talking about Axton.
Vector,
yeah.
I love the Vector. The Vector, the top.
Get like some of his stuff
No,
in the video.
we're not going to talk about the Vector now.
Do you know that the Vector actually has the top of my head? He cut it off and put it on himself.
Really?
No, he actually the artwork for the Vector. He looks like a fat me. He looks like me if I was fat.
So I'm not the only one that thinks that. Okay.
No, it's if you actually look at his hair, that's my hair. He's got my hair and my eyebrows and my eyes, but changed the color.
Could maybe
So
make it like a special like a little RP
I
mission.
I
where
was
you just
actually
swim.
quite disturbed the first time I saw the Vector. I was like, what the?
Well, compared to you, he's primitive.
That is
Hmm.
true. He doesn't have a good beard.
Mm. Oh, but it's a bit off topic. So some sort of video. Ideas for video to introduce
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I thought that was that's what I was when I was thinking about how could we improve the new player experience. People don't read. People may watch a video or may not. I've just got a comment from Einark, whose microphone is not working tonight. He participated in last week's show. He says there's just too much unwritten lore. I had to ask Kevin for links to all the Forculus stuff. So
Mm.
I don't think there's unwritten lore. I think it's unconnected. We don't have a timeline. You know, like people always like to have a timeline. You know, in October 33, this happened, and November 30.
Poor man just wanted his daughter.
Mm-mm.
33 what was it? 3303, right?
What, when the Prismatic Imperium started?
In the Prismatic Imperium, where Tekron shot a poor man that just wanted his daughter.
A poor man, yeah, of course, a poor man.
Yeah,
Yes,
Who
well-
attacked each and every one of you in Kubio and beyond.
No, he was just asking for help.
He
didn't attack
actually
anyone.
didn't attack me, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, you weren't here by that.
TTMJ.
Sure, I would have been good friends with him.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but
We can
a
only-
timeline would work well, just
Yeah,
to show
no.
for one if it's one screen.
Because even if you look at, I was looking at the events, and we don't even have a timeline there. I mean, you read each of the events, you have to piece it together as a jigsaw in your mind. I think a lot of the Forculus stuff Kevin deliberately leaves unwritten. I mean, he also leaves the clues, and he puts a lot of stuff out there through Vector and the other guy, his friend Anthony Burge. So he does put a lot of people out through that, but he doesn't want it written. It's supposed to be like a lore that's in the background of the main lore. I mean, the main lore is Corwin Ryan, the Duke, and the battles and the wars, and behind all of that stuff is TPM and Forculus and the People's Mafia. So
And don't forget the actual events like the Simulation Center or Spencer Isaac.
Yeah. So it's deliberately in the background. That's the kind of stuff that shouldn't. I agree. Maybe that stuff shouldn't be written down. I agree with Kevin. I mean, so that's stuff that you learn as you go, and if you join later on, it is nice to know that there's a deeper lore. It is nice to know that there's things before the things that you know about, and part of the enjoyment is learning that stuff as you go from being part of the community. But yeah, we should definitely have a more accessible start into the lore, and a more accessible introduction to who we are in the lore. Maybe that can be done, I don't know, through a rap song, maybe. Kids like rap songs.
Oh no, please.
Can
I'm
you
f-
repeat
I'm
that? I
fit-
think
you
I
know-
misheard.
Currently, I'm thinking about a beautiful, mighty video that showcases our big fleets, great minds, and
With rap.
wonderful looking people.
With hip hop.
No.
What about metal?
Yes.
Yes.
Some
No,
hard
make it
fucking
epic.
metal.
Make it epic.
No,
That
no,
we
no, no.
we had a
Metal.
kind of epic Prismatic Imperium dedicated song that somebody wrote for us, who is also in this channel right now. Even if I didn't understand anything, but I understood the ship names in Latin-ish.
And you understood everything you needed.
Cobra Mark III, Yicus, something like that.
Kinda.
Yeah, no, because I know usually when I was looking around for people to join, the ones with that like had a video on. I didn't even watch the video, but I thought, these guys have a video for their group. That's very professional.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I
Well,
And I
is that
joined them.
is that the Children of Raxxla?
no, it's Children of Raxxla.
Thinking the same about the Angels the other day when I think on their Nara page they start with a video.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because the funny thing about the Children of Raxxla is their video. I actually made it for Drew because if you look at the Children of Raxxla's mate, they've got a very I have to say it's probably my single best work as a video. They've got a kind of introduction to the Prism system with the music, Adagio for strings, and it's got excerpts of each of the places with descriptions from the book. And it was actually me that did that for Drew, and then the Children of Raxxla used it for their introduction. In fact, I actually make sure not to accidentally delete it when I do like a clean through of my videos every once in a while, because then their website would not look as good. But yeah, so I have done it. I've made videos for the PI, but I'm not talking about an advertisement video, like we did with the trailers. I'm talking about a lore video where somebody who has a nicer voice than mine explains things that people would need to know in their first days.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone with a nice voice, there's something nice to listen to so they can just have an idea. So it's not necessarily something for the introduction to Pi, but for the RP, you say.
Yes. Well, a bit of both. I mean, it's like an introduction to who we are. I mean, it would obviously encompass a lot of the information that Kevin sets out in the document that if people actually read Start Here, they wouldn't need to actually watch the video. But obviously, a lot of people do not read Start Here and do not check the website. Some people do, but not everybody.
It's a bit lazy.
Yes, I know. But people are lazy. I'm lazy, but I mean, the reason I created the PI was because I didn't want to upload a screenshot. So everybody's lazy. Okay, I think is anybody any last business that they would like to discuss?
Yeah, I have something.
Okay.
So about that vice warden position.
Play the outro.
That's something for the internal matters.
Techie, play the outro.
Please visit the nearest palace guard. Thank you.